The technology changed the world so much in the last years, and devices that were a technological marvel at the time are often thrown out, or forgotten, or lie somewhere in the cupboard, or in the garden, like an iPod. Most of us had one at some point in our lives and then, well, got a smartphone and stopped using it. However, being a truly unique invention, an iPod is going through a sort of revival currently. Hello everyone. As you probably guessed from the title of this video, today we are going to talk about the iPods and their restoration. And I have myself 3 iPods. Here we have 2. This one is a 7th generation iPod, 160 gigabytes. It works pretty well. It has a very nice battery still inside and generally is a very nice condition. Perfect specimen right there. Now this one doesn't work, and as you can see, it has some scruffy edges. It fell several times on the ground. Here you can see the bump, and recently it stopped working. So maybe it was because of the fall, maybe because of something else, but recently when I try to turn it on, it just displays that I need to connect it to iTunes for restore. And let's demonstrate it here. Yeah, so as you can see, I need to connect it to iTunes to restore, but when I do that, the disk drive shows that there is no hard drive in the iPod. So one thing that I wanted to do is to replace the hard drive, but not with another hard drive, but rather an SD card, which would be more reliable and will serve me more time. And since I will open it, I also wanted to upgrade the front plate and the back plate, and perhaps, since the battery is quite old, also replace the battery. Fortunately, there are a lot of internet shops where you can buy things to do that. For example, Elite Obsolete Electronics, I'll put a link in the description below, and I got from there this nice backplate. It's already with a cable from the lock button and the headphone jack. That one we will put instead of the aluminum one. But not only that, remember that we also have a bump on the front panel, so we have a replacement front panel as well. That's how it looks, brand new. So we are going to put this on it. That will be without a bump. That's pretty good. So together with a backplate, we will have a full black iPod, which is pretty cool. Not only that, but we got this huge battery. It's 2000 milliamperes, and we'll try to put it in the iPod so that it will last weeks and not days. Let's go. Yeah, here we are. So what actually happened is that the rubber piece of the hard drive got stuck and I had to disconnect it offline. But here we are. We are done with opening the iPod. Next to that, if you're opening it yourself, you need to disconnect this ribbon connector, this audio ribbon connector from this thing over here. I'm not sure if it's visible on the video, but you have to take it out, and you're taking it out before you fully open up the metal cover. So now that we have opened it, we're going to flip the hard drive out like this, and we're going to disconnect a headphone jack. And it's not visible on the video right now because of my hands, but there is like a little lever that you need to pull up, and after that you can easily disconnect the ribbon cable. So here we have this part open, and now we can just pull out the ribbon cable. So now we have a separate backplate. We fully disconnected it from the iPod. We can do whatever we want with it, because actually we have a new one that we are going to install the last. So that will be our new backplate. Before we do that, what we are going to do now is we're going to disconnect the hard drive. We will install an SD adapter, iSoloflash, and further on proceed with the new backplate. And for removal of the hard drive, there is another lever here that you need to up with usually a plastic sponge, and after you carefully lift it up, you can just slide the hard drive out like this. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take this front panel out and install the new one without any scratches. So here we have our iPod without the front cover. The button is a bit off, but we will fix it in when we will put the new cover in just in a moment. So now we're done with the front plate. Here we have it. This is the new front plate, still with a screen protector there. And here we have our old one. So this part is done. Now it's time to install the SD card adapter. Okay, so this is iFlash Solo from iFlash.xyz. And it takes an SD card with mini SD card with an SD card adapter. So you need to slide it like this and have it fully in, like that. And after that, you need to, well, sort of not like this, but the other way around, install it like a hard drive we just took out from the iPod. And as the last part, the iFlash Solo recommends us to install this little rubber thing to protect the SD card from sliding out, but also to protect the iFlash Solo adapter from bumping the internals of the iPod. So now we need to put back the screws for the front cover. All right, we have our backplate, our new backplate. We're going to connect it to the headphone jack and to the lock switch. And it's a nice one. It's a nice backplate from aluminum with a powdered coating on top. So it's pitch black, which is great. So the steps to connect it back are basically the same as to what we had to do to disconnect the old one on the left. With one exception, we're still going to install this big new 2000 milliampere battery. So now we have the new battery in, and the question now is how to close it so that we can connect the ribbon and to keep all the elements in place. And for that, I decided to use a little bit of electrical tape, which never hurts actually. So we'll just apply an electrical tape to all the elements and try. Here we have it. So for now, we're going to, well, close the iPod, connect the ribbon with the battery, and hope that everything will work. So here we go. I finally managed to close the iPod, and during it, although I was able to close it, I had a peculiar thought whether the battery that I have bought was actually suited to this kind of an upgrade, and it wasn't. This was my mistake, so guys, if you are watching this video, please make sure that the battery that you buy will be compatible with the iPod and the SD card that you're going to purchase. The one that I have put in, the big 2000 milliampere battery from Elite Obsolete Electronics, it's only compatible with the quad SD adapter, not the solo one. I should have bought the rectangle battery. It has a smaller profile and it would have fit. This one is not compatible. So what I'm going to do with this particular iPod, I'm going to take the battery out. So will have to open it again and put the old battery in, and hopefully at some point I will upgrade it again. So we can take the battery from the donor, the previous backplate, and we can, well, just put it right in. And maybe to secure it a little bit more, we can use a little bit of the electrical tape, just like we did with the iFlash and the previous battery. So now it's more or less secured. We can close the iPod and see if it will restore. So there we go with our trusty iTunes. It's running on the MacBook 6.1 from one of my earlier videos, from the previous one actually. And normally it should restore it easily. So the SD card was formatted, on the FAT. You can also format it on exFAT, but it should work just fine. One important limitation of iPod generation number 6 is that you're limited to 120 gigabytes, which is still plenty, but just bear it in mind. You don't need an SD card bigger than 120 gigabytes that you can put in this iPod. Okay, I think it should load just right now. Indeed, that's our iPod. Should work right now. And yeah, here it is. Still empty, but we can pretty much start syncing music on it, videos, anything else that we want. and start listening. So there you go, guys. If you have unused iPod, or your relatives do, perhaps it's a great idea to pick it up, restore it, maybe put an SD card inside, or a new battery, or a cool backplate on it, and use it. You can also use it as a dedicated player to not waste battery of your phone. You can also connect it to your stereo system and just have a dedicated stereo player for it. It's just a great neat device to have it on you instead of, well, relying on the internet to stream music, which sometimes can be a problem. Finally, as you can probably saw from this video, they normally have quite a bit of storage, hundreds of gigabytes in this example. You could easily fit all your favorite songs there, perhaps some videos or photos. And also in general, it's a shame that such a great device with a click wheel, with a nice screen, compact, you can take it anywhere, would be forgotten if you have one. So I hope this video would inspire you to revive one of your old iPods, or perhaps acquire an old iPod and just have it for a collection. And I also really hope that you like this video. So thank you very much, and see you in the next one.